Hare Krishna, my friends. Welcome to Bhaktiville. Here we are, our Friday night reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. Last week we read more of Shanaka Rsi's questions in the gathering at Naimisharanya. Suta Goswami began to answer them by telling us about Srila Vyasa activities in the Himalayas. Tonight we're on Canto 1, Chapter 4, Text 16. That's on page 232 of the PDF, or page 206 of the book. So let's get started. Before we do, let's offer our obeisances, or I will offer my obeisances to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at his lotus feet. And please accept my most humble obeisances. Vancha kalpa turubhyascha kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. I also offer my respectful obeisances unto the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just like desire trees and can fulfill the desires of everyone. And they are full of compassion for the fallen, conditioned souls. So let's chant these verses that we sing and chant each week before we read Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim swarasvatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasa, the author. Shrinvatam Svakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Vidyantasto Bhadrani Noti Suhritsatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Nashta prayeshva padreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. A regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Aye. All glories to Sri Bhagavatam. Alright, so we are on Canto 1, Chapter 4, Text 16. And last week, I have a note here. So last week we had some questions about King Parikshit and what was going on. So I looked up his descendants. So Parikshit had 4 sons. Janamejaya was the eldest, followed by Shrutasena, Ugrasena, and Bhimasena. And Janamejaya is known for his anger towards snakes, after hearing about his father's death due to the bite of the Takshata snake. So he actually was going to perform a sacrifice to kill all the snakes in the world. It got interrupted and wasn't fulfilled, but he was really not happy with those snakes. So anyway, Janamajaya's son, Shantaka, was succeeded by his grandson Ashvamedha Datta. So that started me wondering, why was his grandson the next successor? Well, his son Shantanika was killed while sleeping in his tent by Ashvatthama during the Kurukshetra war. So the succession had to skip that generation, and his grandson Ashvamedha Datta became the next king. So now we have it. Those were questions in my mind. I don't know if they were questions in yours, but I wanted to find out. So there it is. Okay, text 16. We'll do call and response so that ultimately we can sing it all together. All of a sudden my camera went wonky here. Okay, now it's better. Thank you. Sorry. Okay, call and response. Paravara Nyasa Rishihi Paravara Nyasa Rishihi Kalina Vyakta Ramhasa Kalina Vyaktana Ramasa Yugadharma Vyatikaram Yugadharma Vyatikaram Praptam Bhuvi Yuge Yuge Praptam Bhuvi Yuge Yuge. All right, all together. Paravaranya Sarishihi Kalena Vyaktaram Hasa Yugadama Vyatikaram Praptam Bhuvi Yuge Yuge. Kandita.
Yes. Okay. Just want to mention the last word on the top line. We don't do the emphasizing the H, the dot underneath it. That, as far as I know, that comes at this after the second line. But anyway, Paravaragya Rishi Kalina Vyaktaram Hasa Yugadharma Vyatikaram Praptam Bhuve Yuge Yuge.
Okay, word for word. Paravara, past and future. Nyaha, one who knows. Saha, he. Rishihi, Vyasadeva. Kalena, in the course of time. Avyakta, unmanifested. Ranghasa, by great force. Yugadharma, acts in terms of the millennium. Vyatikaram, anomalies. Praptam, having accrued. Bhuvi, on the earth. Yuge, yuge, different ages. Translation. The great sage Vyasadeva saw anomalies in the millennium. This happens on the earth in different ages due to unforeseen forces in the course of time. Purport. The great sages, like Vyasadeva, are liberated souls, and therefore they can see clearly past and future. Thus he could see the future anomalies in the Kali age, and accordingly he made arrangement for the people in general, so that they can execute a progressive life in this age, which is full of darkness. The people in general in this age of Kali are too much interested in matter, which is temporary. Because of ignorance, they are unable to evaluate the assets of life and be enlightened in spiritual knowledge. Text 7.
May I say something? I was just reading during our Isanga, or we went over a verse and purport in our morning Bhagavatam Isanga classes, and what's interesting is that the order of the yugas usually, okay, it's Satya Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, then Treta Yuga, and then Kali Yuga. But the sometimes there's this overlapping thing that happens whereas before, and it's like when Krishna appears, it's Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, and then Dvapara Yuga, and then just before the advent of Kali Yuga, then Lord Krishna appears. So I just thought that was interesting in case there's some confusion. But anyway, that's all. Okay.
Yes, thank you. I think that was in our reading last week that there was this overlapping that was
Oh,
mentioned.
okay. It was here.
Yeah, thank
Me and my memory.
that's
Okay.
okay. No, that's important to remember. Thank you. They get all kind of wonky. It's not always exactly one after the other. But thank you for reminding us. All right, text 17 through 18. And I think I'm going to cut this in half and do the call and response half and half. So you won't have to do the whole thing all at once. Okay. Bautikanam Chabhavanam Bautikanam Chabhavanam Shakti Rasam Chatatkritam Shakti Rasam Chatatkritam Ashwadadanam Nisatvan Ashwadadanam Nisatvan Durmedhan Rasitayushaha Durmedhan Rasitayushaha. So we'll just do that one. And then we'll do next. So Bautikanam cha bhavanam Shakti rasam cha tatkritam Ashwadadanam nisatvan Durmedan rasitayushaha. You want to do that first, Kandita?
Yes. Bhautikanam cha bhavanam shakti hrasham cha tatkritam ashradhanam nisatvan durmedhan hrasitayushaha.
Now do the next one. Durbagams cha Janan Viksha Durbagams cha Janam Viksha Munir Divyena Chakshusha Munir Divyena Chakshusha Sarva Varnashramanam Yad Sarva Varnashramanam Yad Dadyao Hitam Amogadrik Dadyao Hitam Amogadrik. All right, all together. Durbagams cha janam viksha Munir divyena chakshusha Sarva varnashramanam yad Dadyao hitam amogadrik.
Durbhagamscha janam viksha munir divyena chakshusha sarva varnashramanam yad dadyo hitam amogadrik.
Yay! All right, word for word. Bautikanam cha, also of everything that is made of matter. Bhavanam, actions. Shakti rasham cha, deterioration of natural power. Tatkritam, rendered by that. Ashwadadanam, of the faithless. Nisatvan, impatient, due to want of the mode of goodness. Rasita, reduced. Ayushaha, of duration of life. Durbhagan cha, also the unlucky. Janan, people in general. Viksha, by seeing, Munihi, the Muni, Divyena, by transcendental, Chakshusha, vision, Sarva, all, Varnashramanam, of all the statuses and orders of life, Yat, what, Dadyao, contemplated, Hitam, welfare, Amogadvik, one who is fully equipped in knowledge. Translation. The great sage, who was fully equipped in knowledge, could see, through his transcendental vision, the deterioration of everything material due to the influence of the age. He could also see that the faithless people in general would be reduced in duration of life and would be impatient due to a lack of goodness. Thus he contemplated for the welfare of men in all statuses and orders of life. Okay, so who is speaking? Who is speaking here? Okay, I think that it's Shanaka Rsi. I don't know. Let's go back and look. Back. Great sage. Oh, okay. So he's speaking about Vyasadeva, and Suta. It's Suta Goswami is speaking. Thank you for asking that. All right. Purport. The unmanifested forces of time are so powerful that they reduce all matter to oblivion in due course. In Kali Yuga, the last millennium of a round of the 4 millenniums, the power of all material objects deteriorates by the influence of time. In this age, the duration of the material body of the people in general is much reduced, and so is the memory. The action of matter has also not so much incentive. The land does not produce food grains in the same proportions as it did in other ages. The cow does not give as much milk as it used to give formerly. The production of vegetables and fruits is less than before. As such, all living beings, both men and animals, do not have sumptuous, nourishing food. Due to want of so many necessities of life, naturally the duration of life is reduced. The memory is short, intelligence is meager, mutual dealings are full of hypocrisy, and so on. The great sage Vyasadeva could see this by his transcendental vision. As an astrologer can see the future fate of a man, or an astronomer can foretell the solar and lunar eclipses, similarly, those who can see through the scriptures and foretell the future of all mankind are called liberated souls. They can see thus due to their sharp vision of spiritual attainment. Kandita says, she says thank you, and she says, I always get a bit confused between Suta Goswami and Sukadeva Goswami. Yes. And that has definitely happened to us here in this reading. All of us who are here. Yes, we all are. Okay, back to the purport. And all such transcendentalists who are naturally devotees of the Lord are always eager to render welfare service to the people in general. They are the real friends of the people in general, not the so-called public leaders who are unable to see what is going to happen 5 minutes ahead. In this age, the people in general are, as well as their so-called leaders, are all unlucky fellows, faithless in spiritual knowledge and influenced by the age of Kali. They are always disturbed by various diseases. For example, in the present age, there are so many TB patients and TB hospitals. But formerly, this was not so, because the time was not so unfavorable. These unfortunate men of this age are always reluctant to give a reception to the transcendentalists, who are representatives of Srila Vyasadeva. and selfless workers always busy in planning something which may help everyone in all statuses and orders of life. The greatest philanthropists are those transcendentalists who represent the mission of Vyasa, Narada, Madhva, Chaitanya Rupa, Saraswati, etc. They are all one and the same. The personalities may be different, but the aim of the mission is one and the same, namely, to deliver the fallen souls back home, back to Godhead. All right, the next verse. Call and response. We're on text 19. Chaturhotram karma shuddham. Chaturhotram karma shuddham. Rajanam viksha vaidikam. Rajanam viksha vaidikam. Vyadadad yajna santatyai. Vyadadad yajna santatyai. Vedam ekam chaturvidham. Vedam ekam chaturvidham. All right, the whole verse all together. Chaturhotram karma shuddham prajanam vikshavaidikam yadadad yajna santatyai vedam ekam chaturvidham.
Chaturhotram karma sudham prajanam yakshavaidikam vyadadha yagna santatyai vedam ekam chaturvidham. Would Bhakti like to try? No?
Nope. All right, word for word. Chatuhu, 4. Bhakti says no, but I do on Tuesday. Yes, he does on Tuesday. Yes, very nicely too. Hotram, sacrificial fires. Karma, shuddham, purification of work. Prajanam, of the people in general. Viksha, after seeing. Vaidikam, according to Vedic rites. Vyadadat, made into. Yajna, sacrifice. Santatyai, to expand. Vedam ekam, only one Veda. Chatu Vidam, in 4 divisions. Translation. He saw that the sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas were means by which the people's occupations could be purified. And to simplify the process, he divided the one Veda into 4 in order to expand them among men. Purport. Formerly, there was only the Veda of the name Yajus, and the 4 divisions of sacrifices were there specifically mentioned. But to make them more easily performable, the Veda was divided into 4 divisions of sacrifice, just to purify the occupational service of the 4 orders. Above the 4 Vedas, namely Rik, Yajus, Sama, and Atharva, there are the Puranas, the Mahabharata, Samhitas, etc., which are known as the 5th Veda. Sri Vyasadeva and his many disciples were all historical personalities, and they were very kind and sympathetic toward the fallen souls of this age of Kali. As such, the Puranas and Mahabharata were made from related historical facts, which explain the teaching of the 4 Vedas. There is no point in doubting the authority of the Puranas and Mahabharata as parts and parcels of the Vedas. In the Chandogya Upanishad, the Puranas and Mahabharata, generally known as histories, are mentioned as the 5th Veda. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, that is the way of ascertaining the respective values of the revealed scriptures.
May I ask something here, or say something? I've never heard it. See the rig and you said and what you are reading it, Juice, Sama and Tarba, Atarba. I've never heard Juice. I've always heard Jur. And then my version here, which is the online version, it's also Yajur. The rig Yajur, Sama, and Artava. So I just wanted to say there's a discrepancy here, and I don't know which is right, but I've never ever heard Yajus. So just wanted to throw that out there. I can ask somebody, some Sanskrit scholars, but yeah, in all my time of Krishna consciousness, I've never heard Yajus. Maybe
That's
it's a
what
mistake.
that's what Srila Prabhupada wrote, so I'm just reading it.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm just saying that I'm noticing a difference. I'm gonna find out. That's all.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. So, just as a side note, histories are the itihasa. You run across that word, Prabhupada does use that word in some places. So, that's the same. History, itihasa. All right, text 20. Rig yajuhu, samatarvakya, rig yaju samatarvakya, Vedas chatvara udritaha, Vedas chatvara udritaha, itihasa puranam cha, itihasa purana cha, panchamo veda uchyate, panchamo veda uchyate. Right, all together. Rig yaju samatarvakya, Vedas chatvara udritaha, itihasa puranam cha, panchamo veda uchyate.
Rik Yaju Sama Hartav Kya Vedas, excuse me, Vedas Chatvara Udhritaha Itihasa Puranam Cha Panchamano Veda Uchyate.
Thank you. Okay, word for word. Rig Yaju Sama Atarva Akyaha. The names of the four Vedas. Vedaha, the Vedas. Chatvaraha, four. Udrita, Udritaha, made into separate parts. Itihasa, historical records. Mahabharata. Puranam cha, and the Puranas. Panchamaha, the fifth. Vedaha, the original source of knowledge. Uchyate is said to be. Translation. The four divisions of the original sources of knowledge, the Vedas, were made separately, but the historical facts and authentic stories mentioned in the Puranas are called the fifth Veda. No purport. Text 21. Call and response. Tatrarg Veda Tara Pailaha Tatrarg Veda Tara Pailaha Samago Jaimini Kavihi Samago Jaimini Kavihi Vaisampayana Evaiko Nishnato. Oops, sorry. Just kind of kept going there. Vaishampayana Evaiko Nishnato Yajusham Uta. Nishnato Yajusam Uta. All right, all together. Tatra Rigveda Dhara Paila Samago Jaimini Kavihi Vaishampayana Evaiko Nishnaito Yajusham Uta Kandita.
Oh, I thought I was on.
Oh, sorry.
Got it back to, that's okay. Tatrag Veda Dara Paila Samago Jamini Kavihi Vaishampayana Evaiko Nishnato Yajusham Uta.
All right, thank you. Word for word. Tatra, thereupon, Rig Veda Daraha, professor of the Rig Veda, Pailaha, the rishi named Paila, Samagaha, that of the Samaveda, Jaimini, the rishi named Jaimini, Kavihi, highly qualified, Vaishampayanaha, the rishi named Vaishampayanaha, Eva only, Ekaha, alone, Nishnataha, well-versed, Yajusham, of the Yajurveda, Uta, glorified. There it is, Yajurveda. Translation. After the Vedas were divided into 4 divisions, Paila Rishi became the professor of the Rig Veda, Jaimini, the professor of the Samaveda, and Vaishampayana alone became glorified by the Yajurveda. Purport. The different Vedas were entrusted to different learned scholars for development in various ways. Text 22. Atarvagam Girasam Asit Atarvam Girasam Asit Savantur Dharano Munihi Samantur Dharano Munihi Itihasa Purananam Pitame Romaharshanaha All right, all together. Atarvam Gira Samasit Samantur Darino Munihi Itihasa Purananam Pitame Romaharshanaha
Atarvangira Sam Asit Samantur Durunu Munihi Itihasa Purananam Pitame Romaharshanaha.
Great, thank you. All right, translation. The Samantu Muni Angira, who was very devotedly engaged, was entrusted with the Atharva Veda, and my father, Romaharshana, was entrusted with the Puranas and historical words. Oh, I forgot the word for word. Sorry, I sure did. Okay, thanks. I'll go back and do that. Atharva, the Atharva Veda. Angira Sam, unto the Rishi Angira. Asit, was entrusted. Sumantuhu, also known as Sumantumuni. Darunaha, seriously devoted to the Atharva Veda. Munihi, the sage. Itihasa Purananam, of the historical records like the Puranas. Pita, father, me, mine. Romaharshanaha, the Rishi Romaharshanaha. And I'll read the translation of them. Thanks, Bhakti, for catching me on that. Samantu Muni Angira, who was very devotedly engaged, was entrusted with the Atharva Veda, and my father, Romaharshana, was entrusted with the Puranas and historical records. Purport. In the Shruti mantras also, it is stated that Angira Muni, who strictly followed the rigid principles of the Atharva Vedas, was the leader of the followers of the Atharva Vedas. Text 23. Call and response. Ta eta rishayo vedam. Ta eta rishayo vedam. Swam samvyasyan anekata. Oh, I didn't cut that out. Sorry. Swam vyasyan anekada. Swam samvyasyan anekada. Shishyai prashishyais tachishyai. Shishyais prashishyais tachishyai. Vedaste Shakino Bhavan. Vedaste Shakino Bhavan. All right, all together. Ta etarishayo vedam swam samvyasyan anekada. Shishyai prashishyai tachishyai. Vedaste Shakino Bhavan.
Ta eda rishayo vedam swam swam vyasyan anekada shishyai prashishyai tachishyai vedas te shakino bhavan.
Great. All right, word for word. I won't forget. Te, they, ete, all these. Rishayaha, learned scholars. Vedam, the respective Vedas. Swam, in their own entrusted manners. Vyasyan, rendered. Anekada, many. Shishyahi, disciples. Prashishyahi, grand disciples. Tat Shishyahi, great grand disciples. Vedate, followers of the respective Vedas. Shakinaha, different branches. Abhavan, thus became. Translation. All these learned scholars, in their turn, rendered their entrusted Vedas unto their many disciples, grand disciples, and great grand disciples, and thus the respective branches, the followers of the Vedas, came into being. Purport. The original source of knowledge is the Vedas. There are no branches of knowledge, either mundane or transcendental, which do not belong to the original text of the Vedas. They have simply been developed into different branches. They were originally rendered by great, respectable, and learned professors. In other words, the Vedic knowledge, broken into different branches by different disciplic successions, has been distributed all over the world. No one, therefore, can claim independent knowledge beyond the Vedas. Text 24. Call and response. Ta'eva Veda Durmedayar. Ta'eva Veda Duramedayar. Sorry, my voice is cracking. Daryante Purushayar Yata. Daryante Purushayar Yata. Evam Chakara Bhagavan. Evam Chakara Bhagavan. Vyasa Kripana Vatsalaha. Vyasa Kripana Vatsalaha. And the whole verse. Ta eva Veda Durmedayar Daryante Purushayar Yata. Evam Chakara Bhagavan Vyasa Kripana Vatsalaha.
Ta eva vedha durmedher daryante purusharyata evam chakara bhagavan vyasa kripana vatsalaha.
All right, word for word. Te, that. Eva, certainly. Vidaha, the book of knowledge. Durmedai, by the less intellectual. Paryante, can assimilate. Purushai, by the man. yata, as much as, evam, thus, chakara, edited, Bhagavan, the powerful, Vyasaha, the great sage Vyasa, the great sage of Vyasa, Kripanavatsalaha, very kind to the ignorant mass. Translation. Thus the great sage Vyasadeva, who is very kind to the ignorant masses, edited the Vedas so that they might be assimilated by less intellectual men. Purport. The Veda is one, and the reasons for its divisions in many parts are explained herewith. The seed of all knowledge, or the Veda, is not a subject matter which can easily be understood by any ordinary man. There is a stricture that no one should try to learn the Vedas who is not a qualified Brahmana. This stricture has been wrongly interpreted in so many ways. A class of men who claim Brahminical qualifications simply by their birthright in the family of a Brahmana claim that the study of the Vedas is a monopoly of the Brahmana caste only. Another section of people take this as an injustice to other castes who do not happen to take birth in a Brahmana family. But both of them are misguided. The Vedas are subjects which had to be explained even to Brahmaji by the Supreme Lord. Therefore, this subject matter is understood by persons with exceptional qualities of goodness. Persons who are in the modes of passion and ignorance are unable to understand the subject matter of the Vedas. The ultimate goal of Vedic knowledge is Sri Krishna, personality of Godhead. This personality is very rarely understood by those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance. In the Satya Yuga, everyone was situated in the mode of goodness. Gradually, the mode of goodness declined during the Treta and Dvapara Yugas, and the general mass of people became corrupt. In the present age, the mode of goodness is almost nil, and so for the general mass of people, the kind-hearted, powerful sage Srila Vyasa divided the Vedas in various ways so that they may be practically followed by less intelligent persons in the modes of passion and ignorance. It is explained in the next shloka as follows. So we're going to stop there. We have a little cliffhanger going on. So stay tuned for more information about this. It's very interesting. Any questions or comments?
No, thank you, but thank you very much. That was all very interesting.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
There. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Jai, Hare Krishna.